Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion. This is the crazy troll nation of YouTube. The crazy, just enjoying doing videos. And if you don't do videos, just enjoying the channels that you watch on YouTube. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. When you're watching videos, try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand, a certain tool, or a certain technique. Use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. Here, the bottom line is self-acceptance and self-love. Embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on, because you are amazing the way that you are. If you're new here, thank you, and I need to let you know I do curse in my videos sometimes, because I curse sometimes, period. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. I appreciate each and every one of you. This video, the no-buy, the 2-month no-buy collab that I did with Lock Maiden and Denise, Beauty Over Age is her new channel name. We did a 2-month no-buy from August 1st to the last day of September. I don't know when you're going to see this. Today is, I believe, September 26th. So we have, as of right now when I'm filming, 3 more days, and we have all been successful. And it is such a really good feeling. And during the process, I thought about what are some lessons that I learned from doing a no-buy. I know some of you are like, I would never do a no-buy. It's counterproductive because I purchase a bunch of stuff before the no-buy starts because I know I've committed to not purchasing, for a particular amount of time. And other people, they say, excuse me, so rude. Other people say they go overboard after the no-buy is over because they're like, freedom, and then they just buy everything. So I do understand that it can be counterproductive. And so it was important for me to really hone in on what I've learned. Aside from this no-buy, I am on a perpetual low-buy, and it's been that way for years. 90% of what I purchase is on sale or a coupon code or a discount or something. And that's what, for me, my perpetual low buy is. It's not buying anything full price. There's always a sale. There's always, something coming up where you can save yourself some money. And the difference between the perpetual low buy and a no buy is low buy means nothing. No makeup, no skincare, none of that. Whereas a low buy is just wait for a sale, use a code, coupon, gift card, point multiplier event, own more points, earn more points. Did I say that right? I don't know. Probably not. Anyway, we're going to keep it moving. So the key for me is in my mind, which I know can be a scary place. I know this. In my mind, a no-buy is supposed to help change how we think about our spending habits. And not just, oh, that's pretty, I'm gonna buy it. Oh, I saw somebody do a look with that eyeshadow palette because I like that look, I'm gonna get that palette. Oh, that blush formula I like in that brand, they're coming out with new colors. I'm just gonna get all the colors. Or, you know what I mean? And so it's just, for me, it's about changing how I think about what I'm purchasing and why I want to purchase it. The main thing is delaying gratification, which it goes perfect with the perpetual low buy. Wait for a sale, discount, code, something. You know what I mean? Like, don't just, for me, not just giving into the hype and something new comes out. And it seems like most of the channels we're watching, they're talking about this new thing. So we're like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. And then we buy it and then we get it. And we're just like, well, we have it for 4 or 5 months and never even used it. But we're still buying more and more stuff. So for me, the idea is to just slow down and to think more critically about whatever it is that I'm like, oh, I want that. And it does happen. And when I said 90% of what I purchase is on sale or a code, there's a few things that sneak by. When I saw Martine Cosmetics 669, I knew I was getting it. When I first saw it, I knew I was getting it. I didn't wait for it to get the beauty bag. I ordered it from Belgium, which meant more money for shipping. I did not care. I'm like, I saw it, I wanted it because I like the dark, the smoky, the vampy. And for that palette, you do have to like dark looks. There's a few multi-chrome, dual chromes in there, but they're lighter. I'm not going to say lighter, they're darker based than the high shine, shimmer, shimmer, wet look. So you have to really enjoy a certain aesthetic for that type of palette. And because I do, when I first saw it, I said, I'm getting it, period. And you know what? I got it, period. And so that one snuck by, and I did spend a hefty amount for it, especially for shipping from overseas. And it worked out because I thought, what if I have a reaction to it? Then I'm stuck with this expensive palette. I did not have a bad reaction to it. So that was exciting. When I saw Mothman palette from Notoriously Morbid, which I need to use more, beans and booty. I know I didn't yell. My voice is still kind of messy from the cold and asthma. But when I saw this, I knew I was getting it because it's different and it's very unique to my collection. And so there are some exceptions. When I saw the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, the first time I saw it, I knew I was getting this palette because it's swamp water. And shout out to Grace, Joe Beauty 87. She sent me a 15% off code. So this and her kept me within my perpetual low buy because I was going to buy this palette. I didn't care. I was going to get it full price, but I got 15% off, so that made it even sweeter. So, but there are things that I see and I'm like, I'm getting it, period. You can say what you want, I'm getting it. So there are things that sneak in, and it's not even a sneak. I see it and I'm like, I'm getting it, period. And that's all, and I'm getting it and I got it. And so, but 90% of what my purchases are perpetual low buy. And so a no buy is not that different, except the mindset is, okay, not only wait for a sale, but wait for a sale after the no buy is over. So there's still that sense of delaying my gratification even longer. Perpetual low buy, if it's something Pat McGrath, I'll use that for an example. There's a sale every 3-4 weeks. But if you're on a no buy for 2 months, a sale is going to come and go, and I'm still not buying anything, which means waiting for the next rotation of sales to come along. You see what I mean? And so it really is about delaying your gratification for me. And not only that, but also in the meantime, in the interim, thinking about, why do I really want that? And so I have some notes here. Of course I do, because I tend to ramble and I will go on and go on rants and tangents and things. And so the first thing, well, and I did say this, but I'm going to read my notes. The main thing in delaying gratification, it allows me time to analyze why I want something. And during that reflection time, I remind myself, number one, there is always another sale coming. Always. I am looking forward to Black Friday sales. November and December sales are, to me, the most advantageous time to shop for makeup and skincare. I am looking forward to it. I'm not sure what I'm going to get yet. A few things I have in my mind to get, but other stuff, I already know I'm going to go to the CCO. And if I just see something, and because stuff is going to be like 80% off, I know I'm going to buy stuff. I just know. I don't know what, but I'm going to buy something. Let there be some Tom Ford down there available in a color story I think I might like. I'm going to buy it because it's going to be like 80% off. Tom Ford is expensive. Don't pay full price for Tom Ford. Go to the CCO or a CCS if you're near one. So there's always another sale coming. Always. One thing I laughed about was Hourglass website. The most I've seen is 10%. Once in a blue moon, like once every other year, it might pop up, 15% off sale or something like that. But for some strange reason, recently they had a 20% off sale. And I'm like, Hourglass? 20% off? And it was for the new release. I'm like, what? But I'm still on a no buy. So, well, at that time. So, anyway. But there is always another sale. And for me, 10% you can get almost anywhere. You can get 10% from the brand's website. Even if you're the base tier at Sephora, during the Sephora sale, you get 10%. Ulta always has coupons. They don't always include prestige items, but you can easily get 10% or $3.50 off of a $15 or more purchase. Every now and then they do a $15 off $50 or more purchase, which is awesome because that usually does include prestige items. And so there is always another sale. Pat McGrath website always has sales. At least once a month there's a sale, it seems. Ulta always has sales and coupons. Sephora sales are predictable. And in the least, sign up for brand newsletters. Recently I received an email from eSum. They were offering, well, they had a 25% off code for some of, not all of, but some of their best-selling items. I don't think I've ever seen 25% off for eSum except years and years ago when I bought the makeup artist kit thing that had the containers in it and for storage and all of that. And that was, I think, like 60% off. And then the brush book came free with it. And that on its own is $65. And so I bought the whole thing because I'm like, this price is freaking amazing. And I still use it and I still have it. But seeing that 25% off some of their best-selling items, I'm like, eSum doesn't really have sales like that. You might get 10% here and there. And it's always select things. It's not site-wide usually. But there's always another sale. If you delay your gratification, a sale will pop up and you'll be like, I'm glad I waited. When I saw that 20% off for Hourglass, people were commenting, oh, I should have waited because they opted for the 10% when it first came out. And then they're like, oh, man, just wait, y'all. Just wait. And I understand some stuff is limited edition, and so you do want to get it, but just slow yourself down just a little bit. And if there's something that's existing shades, just buy the single compact instead of like the whole entire palette. But the packaging, I do think drew a lot of us in because it is unique and it was very pretty. But anyway, there's always another sale. And if you miss them all, Poshmark, Macari, whatever, you can get stuff not full price, regardless of whether it's luxury or not. And speaking of some luxury items, TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Granted, it's not always there, but just keep an eye out. There was a time when I wanted more Pat McGrath, didn't want to pay full price because I was curious about some of the quints. And so, like, once every couple of weeks, I would go to TJ Maxx and Marshalls just to see. You know what I mean? And so, and that was to just go see because I didn't really, it wasn't going to add much to my collection, but I was just really curious about the color story and the formula. So I'm just like, if I see it, I'll get it. There's always a way to not pay full price for makeup. And also at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, if you shop mostly drugstore stuff, there's a lot of stuff at TJ Maxx and Marshalls that you can get at the drugstore that you can find at TJ Maxx and Marshalls a lot cheaper than you can at drugstore. There is always another sale, y'all. That's the main thing. Just slow down. You see something, I want that. Slow down. Slow down, my trollkin. Slow down. It's always another sale. That's the main thing. Another thing that I go back and forth with myself about and that I reflect about during my perpetual low buy, when I see something and it's new and I'm like, okay, wait, there's a sale. But during that time, I start asking myself questions. Yes, I question my damn self. I say, why do I want it? 669, that's 100% my aesthetic. Hands down. Yucca palette, Swamp Water, hands down. Mothman, absolutely unique to my collection, hands down. That's why I wanted those. I'm like, these are special to me and they're special to my collection. When I saw also Forest Heart palette, hands down, one of the most unique palettes in my collection. So I asked myself, why do I want it? Functionality, meaning, do I know that I like the formula? It's going to work for me. Some of those stuff, 669, I didn't know if it was going to work. Mothman, I didn't know if it was going to work. It was a chance that I was willing to take. Thankfully, it paid off. And I did find a code for the Mothman palette for, I think it was 10% off. And so I think, okay, functionality. Do I want it because I know it's going to function well, or I really believe it's going to function well? Do I want it because of the packaging? The Hourglass face palettes. I think half the hype is just the packaging. I do really like how their powders perform though. But if it was in a bland, basic packaging, would it still have that appeal? You know what I mean? And so I think about, Is it because of the packaging, or is it because of the packaging and because I like how their powders perform? Does it have a good formula that I'm familiar with that brand? I spoke about the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. I love her creamy matte formula. I love her cream to powder formula. So if one of them palettes has at least half of either one of those formulas, I know I'm going to like it because I love those two formulas. And then I ask myself, or am I falling into the social media hype? Because when something new comes out, if you're watching beauty related content, you're going to keep seeing that palette. You're going to keep seeing that lipstick. You're going to keep seeing that mascara. You're going to keep seeing that blush. You're going to see tons of affiliate codes. You're going to see tons of videos, people using that item. And of course, the looks look nice. So it's like, ooh, I need that. But why? Because you like that one look you saw, or 2 or 3 looks that you saw? Why do you want it? And chances are, like, once you lean into what your aesthetic is, once you know what you really like for yourself, chances are you can kind of maybe most likely dupe the vibes of that palette. And so while you're slowing yourself down, think about, I really like that look. This right here is Retro Glam palette from Natasha Denona. And as I was doing this look, I'm thinking this is a softer version of a look I can do with the 669 palette, because it has a red, it has the smoke grays and the blacks, but it's more punchy because it's deeper and smokier. But if I went in with a light hand, I can get this from 669 palette. And so those are things to think about. I say often, try not to buy a palette or a blush or a lipstick just because you like how it looked on that person in the video, because that's just one look and that's just one person. Think about, do you have something similar in your collection already? Even if you need to go in 2 or 3 different palettes to get that look, or if you're someone who has a lot of singles, you know you can dupe some stuff with them singles. For real. Okay? You know you can. And so those are things to ask yourself. Do you want it because it's functional, because of the packaging, because it's a formula that you love from that brand, or is it just social media hype? And I do feel like a lot of times it is just a hype, because once 2 weeks go by and a whole bunch of other new stuff come out, you don't even hear about that thing anymore. And maybe 2 months later, somebody will do a video, do I still use such and such? It's just like, where did it go? Like, if this was the best thing since air fryers, what happened? Everything cannot be the best thing. But then days of the week change. So it could be, this is the best thing today. This is the best thing on Tuesday. This is the best thing on Wednesday. This is the best thing on Friday. But then what about the best thing on Monday? Like, where is that at? Who's talking about that? Social media hype. Once it's not hyped anymore, people just forget. Or it seems like they forgot. That was so rude, me digging in my ear. Anyway. So I also asked myself, so those were me questioning why I want it. I also asked myself these other questions. Does it fit my aesthetic? When I received this Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette in a subscription box, I never had my eye on this palette, because you see all these light tones. That's not what I like. The looks are pretty. I do ethereal looks, but it's not my preference. Today we kind of stuck right here with these tones, and I put a little bit of the black from Xenon in the outer corner. But when I look at palettes, like, is this my aesthetic? So even though I saw really nice looks, excuse me, so rude. Even though I saw really nice looks with this palette, I'm looking at it like, these light tones is not for me. And the packaging, Natasha know how to do some packaging. Like, this is really nice. But is this my aesthetic? Half the palette, over half the palette, is not my aesthetic. So it's like, why would I buy this when I know I'm not going to like half of those shades? Or they might look dusty on me. And that goes back to what I said about 669 palette. You see one look with that palette and you're like, oh, I need to get that. That look was pretty. And then you get it and you're thinking, I don't even really like dark smoky looks. And the whole palette is dark and smoky. So like, why did I spend, that $50, $60 for that? So just slow yourself down. Does it fit your aesthetic? And then I asked myself also, will it dupe something already in my collection? 669 didn't. Yucca palette don't. Mothman doesn't. Forest Heart palette doesn't. And so there are quite a few things. And my lethal singles that I put in the palettes, and also my lethal palettes, and some of my MAC singles I put into palettes. Like, they don't dupe things, because it's just, you know, you pulling singles together and making your own palettes. And so that's something to ask yourself. Like, when you see a look that you like, can you dupe that with something? If you have a black or a smoke gray and then a lighter gray and this cranberry-ish type color, you can dupe this look. You don't need to get the Retro Glam palette for that. You don't. So that's something to think about. And I also asked myself, will it add something unique to my collection? 669 was unique. Mothman, Forest Heart palette. Those are unique to my collection. The Yucca palette from Natasha Denona. Even like, I'm looking at it and the name is escaping me. Circle Local palette. It is unique. So those are things to ask yourself. I know a lot of people, because they do know what they like and what shades they're geared towards, they'll just keep purchasing palettes and they all have similar color stories. Personally, I don't like to have a lot of dupes in my collection, and so it's important for me for it to add something, for it to be unique to my collection. And when I do a look and I'm like, that looks like something I did with such and such, then I'm thinking, which one can I let go of and be okay with letting it go? Because if I can do this similar look with other stuff, I don't really feel like I should keep both of those in there. Like, give it away or sell it to somebody who will get use out of it and enjoy it, versus me having multiple palettes with the same color stories. But it's all about what you want. If you use pinks and mauves religiously, like every other look, if that's your go-to look, go for it, because you know why? You're going to use the hell out of those shadows. But for me, certain tones, I'm like, I'm not going to use those because I don't prefer those. Is it going to add something unique? And if it doesn't add anything unique, are they tones and products that you're going to use on a regular basis? Get your money's worth out of it. That's the bottom line to that. So whether it's unique or not, are you going to use it? Are you going to get your money's worth out of it? Another thing, I kind of spoke about this just now. Another question I asked myself, will I actually use it? I see videos, people are like, I bought this palette 6 months ago. I haven't even used it yet. And I'm like, what? Troll. You better dip a brush in there and put that on your face. Is this something I would actually use? Or is it something just to have? And sometimes things may be really pretty and we just wanted to put it on display and look at it like it's artwork. Because sometimes packaging can look like artwork. So if you want to have it just to have it, own your decision. For me, I want to have it because I know I'm going to use it, and I really believe I'm going to enjoy using it and be excited to use it. So it depends on your purpose for wanting to buy it. If you just want it for decoration, get it for decoration and sit and look at that every day like, damn, that packaging is the bomb. And if that satisfies you, go for it. For me, I want to use it. I want to be like, wow, that packaging. Okay, let's open it up and dig into it and use it and get my money's worth out of it. So those are questions that I ask myself. I also watch reviews of content creators that I feel are impartial. I want to hear why you like it and why you don't like it. For me, when everyone seems to like this one thing, I'm like, somebody's lying. You know why? Because everything doesn't work for everybody. And not that somebody's lying, it's just that sometimes people don't want to come across being negative. So if they try a lipstick and they don't like it, they may not do the video. I think it does the beauty community an injustice, because if something is dry, or it's going to make my lips flaky or peel off, or the shadows don't blend, or the blush is patchy, I want to know that. Because that might, help me make a decision. And if I hear more than one person saying the same things and not necessarily good things, I'm going to question, like, I don't know if I want to take a chance and deal with that. You know what I mean? But then on the flip side, if it is really pretty or whatever, I still might be like, well, I can make it work, which I don't like to make stuff work. I just want it to work. Stuff costs too much for me to have to make it work, in my opinion. The stuff I buy, because the stuff I buy isn't always really cheap. So I want it to work for me, not the other way around. And so I'm listening for what they like and what they don't like, and also paying attention to, do we like the same stuff? I watch reviews sometimes from Teresa is Dead. Teresa does not like Natasha Denona creamy matte or cream to powder formulas, and I know that because as many times as I say I love them is as many times as she says she doesn't. So if she's reviewing the Natasha Denona palette and she's like, these creamy mattes, I already know she don't like them. So that's cool. We have different things. I love it. She doesn't. And so even just hearing that, like, tell me why you like it. Tell me why you don't like it. Versus just like, oh, this is just so pretty. You need to run out and grab it. Here's my code. No. No. And so I'm listening for both sides of the coin. Why is it good? Why is it not so good? And I also read reviews online from, you know, Sephora or Ulta. And I what's the word I'm looking for? I sorted lowest reviews to the highest. Because for me, because of my sensitive skin and my sensitive lids, I'm looking for, is it breaking people out? Did it make their skin itch? Did it make their eyes burn? You know, I'm looking for that type of thing, especially with skincare. If there's like 10 reviews and people are like, oh my gosh, my skin started burning and I ended up with a rash, I'm like, oh hell no, I ain't buying that. Because I would be the 11th person that my skin would peel and burn. And so I'm looking at reviews and I'm reading reviews, and I disregard the ones that are like, oh, this is just the best eyeliner I ever used. That's the whole review. So like, why was it the best you ever used? So I disregard that because you're not telling me anything except that you like it, but you're not saying why. And if you don't like it, oh, this was horrible. Why was it horrible? It might not have just been your color. Maybe you prefer black eyeliner and not green eyeliner. You know what I mean? And so I'm really looking at the reviews, what people are saying. I'm listening to what they're saying in their videos. And all of that plays into whether or not I remain excited to possibly purchase that item. The other thing I do while I'm still deciding on whether to purchase something, because 2 month no buy stuff has popped up and I'm like, oh, and then as time goes on, it's like, delaying your gratification can do that too. When I first heard about the Hourglass palettes, I'm like, oh, I have enough points, I can get all 3. But I'm like, that was ridiculous because all of them are not geared towards tan skin. And so I'm just like, okay, that was stupid. Like on my part, I was just so excited about the packaging and I'm like, oh, I like Hourglass powders. But even just waiting, because I was on a no buy, it gave me time to really just digest my reasons, all of these things that I'm talking about, asking myself all of these questions and looking at reviews and looking at it on different skin tones and how people are using the different powders and the palettes. And so if I decide I still want to purchase something, I'm about 80% sure that I do want Divine Rose 1. It does look cool tone, which Subliminal did too. Subliminal surprised the hell out of me, and I love that palette. I'm glad that I purchased it. And so I am really curious about Divine Rose 1 because it looks like it maybe can be smoky. I still sound like I'm not sure, right? But just like with Subliminal, I got that 40% off. State of Delaware, no sales tax. Shipping was free. I paid $77.40 for Subliminal. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, there'll be another 40% off sale. And the Divine Rose 1 is not limited edition. I got time. I got time. I'm hearing Lynette in my mind when she would do her I'm Not Buying This series. I do miss her videos, y'all. She would say, because she don't pay full price for stuff either. And she would say in her videos, this is how she would say it, my weight game is strong. And so what she was saying is she gonna wait for a sale. However long it take, she gonna wait. And that's how I feel with Pat McGrath's stuff. My weight game is strong because we know in another month or so it's going to be another 30% off sale, 25% off sale. I'm holding out for that 40% off sale. And Black Friday sales and stuff is coming up. So chances are I really will get Divine Rose, the first one, 40% off. And so I think about how can I maximize my money. I don't have a lot of makeup, but what I have is expensive. The majority of it is expensive. And so I think about, do I have a gift card? Can I use rewards points? Ulta's good for that, y'all. Ulta, the rewards points, if you purchase something and there's a point multiplier event, your points add up quick and those points convert to cash. Okay, you can't beat that. And I also have an Ulta gift card. And I do look for point multiplier events. And if something is not on sale, the two matte connecting color palettes that I purchased, they were not on sale. These two were not on sale. They were $54 a piece. Were they on sale? They were $54 a piece, but there was a point multiplier. And so when I calculated the points I would earn, it came out to what would have been a decent sale price. And so that's why I went ahead and purchased them, even though they were not on sale, because the points added up to a lot of money. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, that's cash. That's cash I'm earning back. And so I felt really good about that. And also, speaking cash back, I have a link down below if you're not already on Rakuten. If you shop through the Rakuten site, you do get cash back, and they pay out every quarter. And however much you get back depends on how much you shop, but you are earning anywhere from 2 to 8% off of your purchases. And it's almost any retailer, it seems like. And so I do recommend Rakuten. I think there's another app called Honey. And I do believe Capital One has a cashback app. But sign up for one of them cashback apps to further maximize your money, especially when they pay you back. So at quarterly, I get, a PayPal deposit from Rakuten. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. Earning money back off of what you're spending already anyway. Like, that's a win-win situation. And then I also think about, especially with Ulta, is can I stack deals? Ulta, you can stack deals. If you go to your Ulta profile page or something, it'll tell you what all this deals are that's going on at that time. You can just click to, what does it say? Click to activate. So I'll just activate all of them. Sometimes it's like 4 or 5 of them. And so it's already there until it expires. And it might be like another month before it expires. And so anytime I go in there to shop, it's automatically calculating those points and those percentages off. So that's the way that you can maximize your money, your savings. So even if it's something that's on sale, if it's also point multiplier for that brand and there's a percentage back, because it's like you can stack your stuff, y'all. And so while you're delaying your gratification, there's all these different ways that may pop up for you to maximize your money. And even using an Ulta coupon code with a gift card and with, rewards points. Listen, y'all, slow yourselves down and you will start to see, like, yeah. Now, if you're in the indie world, I don't think they have these types of deals, or it might be 10% off or something like that. I do have another lethal BYOP in my cart. I'm waiting for, Black Friday sale when they have something else additional off. When you complete a palette, it may be 20 to 30% off. But during Black Friday last year, there was a sale in addition to that one, and some of the shadows were discounted. And so I'm waiting for that. And just think ahead to, like, I know something is coming, especially if it's not limited edition. And even if it is, you have to determine for yourself, is it worth it for you to still go ahead and get that thing? So, but I encourage you, slow yourselves down. Ask yourself these questions. Number one is always, we're recapping. Number one is always another sale coming. Number two, ask yourself, why do you want it? Because it's functional, because of the packaging, because it's the formula you like, or because you're falling into social media hype. Questions to ask yourself: does it fit your aesthetic? Will it dupe something you already have? Will it add something unique to your collection? Will you actually use it, or do you just want to have it just to say you have it? Also, watch reviews of that item from different content creators and listen for why they like it and why they don't like it. And also read reviews online, which means waiting, because when stuff just hits, there's no reviews yet. So just wait and then read reviews and see what people are saying. And if you really think you still want to purchase it, think about how can you maximize your money. Use a gift card, use rewards points. point multiplier event, stack deals, that type of thing. And so that'll be it for this video. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know your history with no buys or low buys. I'm really curious if this inspires you to maybe do a perpetual low buy, because for me, everything I said is a part of my perpetual low buy. Those are the things that are going through my mind while I'm waiting for a sale to come up. And then sometimes by the time the sale comes, I don't even want it anymore because I've ran through all of those questions. And so I'm hoping that this helps you to not overspend before the no buy or to not overspend after the no buy, but to really just slow down and think about all of these things that I mentioned in this video. Another thing, this is just off the top of my head I thought of right now. I know a lot. I'm weird. I don't celebrate my birthday. I squeeze out of my mama's vagina. Like, why do I need a reward for that? I know that sounded really kind of like, what? But yeah, that's all I did. I squeezed out her vagina. So I don't celebrate my birthday. Before my mom had dementia, I would celebrate her on my birthday. You know, I would take her out, you know, if it's somewhere she wanted to go, take her to a show or, you know, dinner or something, because she did the work. I just squeezed out and it was painful for her. So it's to try not to, I'm not saying don't celebrate your life. Every day you're living is a chance to celebrate you being here. Try not to think about, oh, my birthday is coming up, I'm going to go broke and buy all this makeup. How is that a gift when you're going into more debt? Because you were born that day, however many years ago. This is probably controversial, because I know a lot of people do, like, oh, my birthday, I'm going to get dressed up, I'm going to go out. Just take yourself out. Take yourself out to dinner. Call up one of your homies and be like, yo, let's go to this theater show. Hey, let's go to this restaurant I've been wanting to try. You don't need a special day to do that. Every day is special because you friggin' rock. Troll Nation is the bomb, y'all. Don't wait for a special day. Every day can be a special day. So try not to think of your birthday as, oh, I was born this day. I'm 53. I was born this day 53 years ago, so I'm going to go out and buy $200 worth of makeup. What? Girl, wait for a sale. Dude, wait for a sale. Non-binary, gender fluid, wait for a sale. Do that for yourself. Save yourself some money. And if you're the type that shops using credit cards, unless you pay off that balance at the end of the month, you're paying more than that sale price for that item because you have interest on your credit card. Like how I was saying with the mothership's 40% off for me is $77.40. If I put that on a credit card and I didn't pay that balance off, I'm paying more than $77.40 for that palette. So where's the sale? Where am I saving money? I'm not. So that's something to think about too, is if you do carry balances on your credit cards, don't just buy stuff because it's your birthday, because you're just increasing your debt ratio. That's what you're doing for your birthday. And I don't think that's a good gift to yourself, to increase your debt ratio. So I hope this was helpful, and I really do hope it gave you something to think about. Let me know if this encourages you to even just try a perpetual low buy, meaning as best as you can not to purchase anything full price. And even for me, as I said, there's 10% stuff, I just get it. I see it, I want it, I'm getting it, period. But it's very few things. And I do think it is important to maximize our money. Prices are continuing to go up. Things are not going to go back cheaper to how they were 3-4 years ago. They're just not. Because once things go up, they might come down, but it's never going to go down to where it was before. And so maximize your money, slow yourself down, you know, think about these questions, and just, it's a sale coming. And also think about how you can maximize your money, and if it's something you're actually going to use and enjoy using, or if you're just going to store it with the rest of your stuff that you haven't used yet, but yet you still keep buying more. Help me make that make sense. And so, but that's just me, because I don't like clutter. I don't like just stuff. I like a functional, curated, workable collection. And so, but that's me, and that's where I am. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. And I really do hope to encourage you to try a perpetual low buy. Like, not just for a month, But just in your mind, I'm not going to get anything unless it's on sale or a coupon code or something like that. And find one of those apps, Rakuten, Honey, Capital One, whatever, and earn cash back on what you're spending. And if you're shopping with credit cards, pay that balance off or don't get it on that credit card. Get it through your bank or like your debit card or PayPal connected to your bank card or something like that. But yeah, so let's try to be more intentional with our purchases and to be more conscientious about our spending tendencies. I will say that. That'll be it for this video. Thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. I do hope this was helpful to you. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you've made it this far, thumbs up the video if it gave you something to think about. Thumbs up the video if you're not subscribed. Browse through my other videos, and if you like what you see, I would love for you to subscribe. There's a lot of links down below. As always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.